Hello, everyone. My name is Wes Christian, CEO of Food Handler Solutions and School Food Handler, and I am really excited about today's topic and our special guest for today. And I'm actually going to let Bart Christian introduce our guest so that we can get right into it. Bart, why don't you introduce him for us?
All right, well, Wes, it's great to be here again, and I can't tell how excited I am to introduce Scott Jensen, who has become a really good friend of mine over the past few weeks, and we've begun to do a lot of work together. And I got to tell you something, Scott, as we're talking to each other, and it's sometimes you don't really realize just how impressive people are until you get their resume. You talk to him and say, "Well, this is a smart guy. He's got it on the ball," but then you read their resume and you go, "Oh my God, this guy is really smart." And I just look at all the things you've done, and I noticed that you said that you were a polymath, which I found to be as an interesting term because I'd never actually heard it before. And then I looked at your resume, and you explained to me that is somebody that's proficient in multiple areas, and you are certainly that. You have got quite the accomplishments. One of the things I want to ask you about as we're talking about your background is, I noticed that you've done a lot of work in entertainment. Tell us a little bit about that and what you've done, especially these partnerships that you've had with people like Activision, Hasbro, and Marvel, and Disney, and ESPN, and Fox, and Mattel. I mean, that just had to be a blast to do.
Well, Bart, it's really nice to hear the kind words, and I feel the same about you and Wes. And you're right; it is something where, as you get to know and you work with people, it's sometimes hard to draw the line between professional and personal, right? Because you're working so closely with people, you get to know them as people. So I've been really enjoying the process of getting to learn you and your business, and that's really, when you're talking about what I've done in the entertainment space, it's largely been doing that at a broad level. So the partnerships, as you know, any good relationship establishes some groundwork, but it's also what is it that you can do to advance each other. And my background in entertainment tends to be working with very well-known consumer brands. And the brand, like anything in life, is a promise. And when you work with a top brand, we worked with, as you mentioned, Activision, Hasbro, Marvel, all of the studio content. The promise is if you work with them that you're going to return their brand in as good a position, if not better, than when you started. So we would find creative ways to launch products. And a lot of this was in the early days of mobile. I used to work at Nokia years back too. Remember the old days of a phone where, it was a flip phone. And I remember some of the meetings I was going into, they would look at me like I had two heads, telling me that people are going to be playing games and watching videos on a mobile phone. They were just shaking their head going, he doesn't know, he does not know what he's talking about. But ultimately, people started to realize the power of having basically a small computer in your hand. So we were structuring deals in the early days. We were working with, if you remember, Singular when they were rolling out their games business. We were working with the large carriers like Verizon, and it was truly early days. So understanding how to market, how to develop these products, and really how to entertain. And I have some prideful moments back in these days when people didn't know about what was going on with Apple and the iTunes. We worked with partners like the New York Times to bring news to people. I had the good fortune of working at the Weather Channel to bring weather information to millions of people. And it's not too dissimilar from what we're trying to do now. And that is, how do you inform, but do it in a way that helps people understand the information quickly. And you also have to take a little bit of entertainment with it, because if it's just purely information, the information might not resonate. It might not be something that they can fully comprehend. If you can make it fun and entertaining, that's one of the lessons I learned with all these partnerships. Tell a story and bring something to the consumer so that they can benefit from it, either make it a positive experience or a learning experience.
Tell us a little bit about your time. I noticed on your resume that you were instrumental in getting the first Internet Film Festival going with Sundance. That had to be an experience. And I got to ask you a question that my wife asked me: did you get to meet Robert Redford?
So yeah, we. I don't necessarily want to point to that as a moment that I want to relive, but it was it was a unique time. It was, if you remember back to the late 90s, when all of the new media and internet startups, we were doing some fun things. We were having parties at wild places, planning Super Bowl ads, and it was really something that had never been done. The idea to take this internet and bring a film festival to it, they kind of thought we were crazy, but we had a kickoff, we had a smash. It was the most incredible experience. It was old school stars and celebrities coming together with the new technologists and the people that were understanding what the web was going to bring. And it laid the foundation for, I think, a lot of what we see now, whether it's through YouTube or, again, the online storytelling.
And I noticed you take a lot of that. I've talked to you a lot about caring and giving back and wanting to help other people. I know that's the big drive behind the newest project you've got with COVID Smart. And and you carry that into your personal life. I mean, you're on the UCLA advisory board for Camp Kasem, and you're also on the Manhattan Beach. You do a lot of volunteer work with the Manhattan Beach Unified School District. What is Camp Kasem? Am I even saying that right?
So it's interesting because I have a teenage daughter, and she actually lost her mom to cancer. And what Camp Kasem does, and most people aren't familiar with it because they haven't had those experiences, but what Camp Kasem does, and this is something that's available at multiple universities around the country, they actually bring people together who've had similar experiences. So my daughter is in particular associated with the UCLA chapter. And because I was going to the events and I, again, wanted to pitch in, they invited me to join their board and help them out with everything from fundraising efforts to just raising awareness. And it's truly a remarkable experience to have these students, and they're young people themselves. They're kind of learning about life. They're anywhere from first-year students to seniors at the colleges that will mentor these young people. And they go out, they have a week away. It's just them in the woods in a camp, and they share experiences that really help them not only deal with the loss, but also just deal with life. And it's an amazing experience. Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And so now you're co-founder and president of Direct Education Worldwide. You're providing workplace training for a variety of people in this new learning environment we're in the 21st century. You founded COVID Smart. You developed this in partnership with APIC, which is the Association of Professionals in Infection Prevention and Epidemiology. And I look at your and you've gone from entertainment to volunteerism now to trying to give back in terms of helping people learn how to keep themselves safe during this time.
It's very true. And through a lot of the work that I did with the local school board here, I learned about learning systems. And I learned about how not just the students, but also anyone in business can learn effectively. And, the COVID Smart, which is really a unique program, the idea was to create something that would be an online program that companies could use in really a time of need. We all together came with the idea that this is a clear problem. COVID-19 is something that's affecting an increasing number of people. There's no vaccine. So we got together and said, how can we create something, a simple program that people can go online and learn what they need to quickly, effectively, but also doing it in a meaningful way so that it benefits those around who might not know all the things that can be useful to help limit the spread of this disease.
Yeah, you guys have been talking a little bit. Bart, you've mentioned COVID Smart, and I know, Scott, you were just kind of talking about it. Tell us a little bit more about that program specifically for the viewers out there that might not be familiar with what you guys have put together.
Sure. There's probably some legitimate anxiety out there. So what this is, it's an occupational training program, and it's specifically designed to teach a workforce what are the best practices to prevent the spread of COVID-19. It has 7 modules. It covers everything from information about the disease, how to wear a face mask, how to wash effectively. This is something that I didn't know, but most people, when they wash their hands, they're not aware whether or not they're doing it effectively. So we have a 9-step program which will show you precisely how to wash your hands to make sure that you're doing it the right way. So the program is something that can be done in about an hour. It's think of it as a multimedia cross-platform. So it has illustrations, there's audio, there's voiceover, and as you go through, there's a series of multiple choice questions. And it's available in English, Spanish. We're also developing other languages. It's ADA compliant too, so if you're hearing impaired, COVID Smart's available. But it's a modular system. So you go through, you unlock each different section as you complete the course, as you pass. And let's say you get a question wrong. The beauty of this is it's not really geared to try and trick you. It's not a test per se, it's really reinforcement of the knowledge. So once you get to the end, it'll ask you a multiple choice question. And as you get them right, you proceed through the course. Once you've completed the whole course, then you get a certificate. And that certificate has a barcode on it, so you can scan it on your phone. And what that'll show is that you now are proficient and have comprehension about things that are important to know about the spread of COVID-19, what you can do in your workplace, what you can do on surface areas, and just general understanding of what's important to know that you can share with your colleagues. Most important from our standpoint is if you're a business and you have customers that are coming in, point of sale, retail, the customers want to know that you've gone through this program. They want to understand that, hey, this is an organization that cares about not only its employees, but the people that are shopping there. And so we have a system with a sign that says COVID Smart. It's got the QR code, and that's actually scannable. So as you walk in, you can scan and see, hey, yeah, this bakery or this restaurant here, all 20 people that are there have completed the course. And it gives a further level of comfort from people that are going into these locations.
It's got to give a level of comfort for the employees also, knowing that their other peers that are working with them have gone through this training and they know what to do to keep each other safe.
Exactly. And what's interesting too is there's a lot of information out there. So some people, they might be doing some research on their own. They might go ahead and get some information off the website, go online and get, hey, these are the most recent things that are important to do, whether it's at a hotel, a restaurant, wherever they may be working. And the challenge there is there's a lot of information. So if someone tried to consume everything, it's probably impossible. So maybe they get bits, they get pieces, they get it incomplete. And in some cases, these sources aren't even accurate. I've been shocked to see what's out there, information that really wouldn't help prevent the spread of COVID-19. So our program is not only complete and comprehensive, but we also wanted to get that endorsement and partnership with the trusted medical professionals. So Bart, you mentioned APIC. So APIC, they're very unique. There's membership is enormous. It's in the tens of thousands, 15,000 plus people. And it's the professionals that are specifically focused on infection prevention, but also epidemiologists. So what APIC will do is they're an association that has both of those organizations. They have the professionals that are focused on preventing the spread of the disease, but also the epidemiologists as their day-to-day business. They're the ones on the front lines of dealing with COVID-19. So they have reviewed the course. They gave us some information, some updates, make sure that this was not only complete, but consistent with their guidelines, consistent with what you'd find on CDC or the World Health Organization lists. This is something that is important, and it's also a changing climate. There's information that's being available through medical research and more information. So we've structured COVID Smart, so it's not just a one-time thing. It's actually a subscription service. So once you sign up for COVID Smart, you can access it and take all of the modules. But then if you want to go back, or if there are updates, you can access it for up to a year.
The thing that I think is most interesting about it and looking at, our world or my world is revolves around schools, K-12 education. And what I've seen with a lot of people that what appealed to me so much about COVID Smart when you shared the program with us is that, there's a cohesion to it. And that's something that I did not find. We've had school districts nationwide calling us and asked us help them find tools and resources, and would find one and they said, well, that was great. Can you find another one? Because they understood that there's an importance to build on that cohesion where things fit together. And there's just not that in this. There's a lot of people throwing stuff together, sort of as my grandmother would say, mishmash, and putting it together as best they can, but it doesn't really fit all together, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think in this case, particularly during the pandemic, I think mishmash could be dangerous.
Exactly.
And our focus, I like the way you use the word, how it coalesces, because the information in the COVID Smart modules does build on itself. So each successive module, you get pieces of information that you'll carry through. And, you mentioned the schools. I have a daughter who should be going back to school in the fall, but now that's in question. But I think there's really two prongs at the schools. You've got the people who are preparing the food, right? Everyone that goes to school needs to have available food. And even if the schools aren't open, a lot of times the students are going there to get their lunches. And then you've also have the administrators and the teachers and the people once the schools reopen. So I think the cohesion of this and the story of this is that it does give them all of the information in a comprehensive format. And most people don't have a lot of time, particularly when you're trying to get a large organization up and running. So you can do this entire COVID Smart course in about an hour. And the other thing that's interesting, as what we're finding is the feedback is some sections people can get through pretty quickly, but other sections, maybe a number of those, it's a little bit more confusing. Maybe there's some dense information that they need to take a little more time with. And we've got an at-a-glance tool for the administrators, whoever's using this as the person at the organization that is overseeing the compliance with COVID Smart. They can see, first of all, who's finished the program. They can see how quickly people are going through, and they'll know if maybe they need to do some on-site reinforcement of certain modules because there could be issues or challenges people might not fully understand. So the other thing about this is we have printed materials that we make available to our partners. So if you take the course, it doesn't end there, right? We've got the course that's available. You can go through it. You get the updates that are available as needed. And then we also have posters and items that can be hung up at locations that reinforce the information. So maybe it's how you wear your mask with a visual to show people what they need to know. Maybe it's the 9 steps of how to wash your hands effectively. So those are also part of the COVID Smart program.
That's awesome. And I don't think anyone out there watching this would deny that information about COVID changes frequently. New things come out. We discover something that people need to know about, or maybe something that we were originally directing people to do that has been modified. What type of ongoing support do you guys offer? What's the team look like behind this? And how do changes happen if we do have something that gets updated?
You're absolutely right. We are in unique times because think about even many of the experts are still doing ongoing research to understand all of the nuances of COVID-19. So as a result, we wanted to make this available, first of all, to everyone. So it's a subscription access, which means if new information becomes available, we will, with our team of clinical experts and leveraging their medical knowledge, as we learn more about the disease, if anything in the course needs to be updated, we will change the module, make it available, and anyone who has the COVID Smart access will see those updates. And the idea here is that we really don't know what the future will hold, but we do know that having our experts, particularly with APIC and those that are on the front lines doing the research about COVID-19, we're confident that as we learn more, it will be included within the COVID Smart program.
When somebody gets one of those, when you do those updates, and somebody is there an alert that goes out? Do people are alerted to the updates? Do you have a system for doing that yet?
Yeah, so that's a great question. One of the things that's really important for us is each of the clients that we have, each of the organizations that is going through the process, we typically will have an administrator. So first of all, that administrator will have all of their contact information.
Perfect.
They will be in our system. So anything that needs to be done, if they have questions, we have an ongoing support that we can provide. We have FAQs, we have on-site resources. So the communication for us is really important. So if there's an update, we're going to make sure that that's available through the people who have registered in whatever format is the most appropriate, whether it's sending them the emails, sending them alerts. And when people log in, they will see the current version of the program and be able to access that.
Perfect. Now, I know there's people out there that are watching this wondering, what does something like this cost? Is this going to be something that's expensive? What's that look like?
We're in unique times, as I said, and what we didn't want to do is look at this as purely the revenue. This is really about saving lives. We wanted to make COVID Smart available to as many people as possible, and we've been talking largely about schools, about restaurants, about locations where it's going to be critical to bring people back. It's going to be critical to instill confidence in communities. And so the last thing we wanted to do was price this in such a way that it wouldn't be available to all. So we have, first of all, a series of communities that we're launching. We started in Malibu, California, and in those cases, we're working directly with the local governments. We're working with the chambers of commerce. And the idea is to partner and make it available, find creative ways to get the course and get access to people. So we have discounts in Malibu. So the full price for a single 1-year license is lower than you might think. It's $29.95. And that gives you all of the bells and whistles that we talked about, gives you full access. But through the communities and through promotions, we're finding creative ways to get it in people's hands because for us, it really is about having the broad support. And when you have a large percentage of people in a community who have gone through the program, if you have a growing number of stores where all of their employees have gone through and you see the sign in the window, you start to build something that's really important. You start to build confidence back in people being able to go conduct business, be among the people in their community. So that's really the motivation for us too.
That's an amazing price. I mean, I compare it to the food service industry. I mean, we've got a manager certification course that's upwards of $250 per person. So, and that's extremely reasonable.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we wanted to make it, if you think about it, for each person in your organization, even at full price, it's less than $2.50 a month.
Mm-hmm. Now, it seems that your target audience for COVID Smart could really be anyone, as everyone's going to be able to benefit from the information that's provided in this course. I mean, it could be a teacher, it could be a student, it could be a cafeteria worker, like you mentioned. Are there unique benefits for certain organizations or other business owners that you would want to tell us about?
So first of all, you're absolutely right. This is a program that, while it is focused on workplace and training employees and owners of various local establishments, this is something that would benefit everyone. However, if you are running a business, there are absolutely significant benefits. So first of all, not the least of which, and you touched on it earlier, Wes, if you're an employee, you want to look around and look to the left and look to the right and be confident that everyone knows what's important. What do they know what they can do to prevent the spread of this disease? And so we've got that online dashboard where a manager, typically we set up someone as an admin, so the manager can log in and make sure that everyone has in fact completed the program. So if you have 25 employees at a bakery, you can at a glance see, okay, oh wait, maybe Joe hasn't completed it, and you can give a gentle reminder. So the dashboard tools are really unique for the businesses, and those are available for large and small businesses. The other really important thing is if you're a business that engages with the public in any way, if you have people that are coming in to eat your food, you have people that are coming in to conduct business, to make a deposit in your bank, the program is unique that it provides a trusted mark. So the COVID Smart logo and the COVID Smart check mark is available on the sign that every business gets when they complete the program. And we didn't want it to be something where, I don't know if you've been in some of these locations where you see these handmade signs, you see something in there, and who knows if that's legitimate? Who knows if that's something that is truly backed by medical support? So we also wanted a sign that not only had that trusted symbol, but it's verifiable. So anyone who has a smartphone, they can just scan the QR code on that sign and they will see automatically, yep, verified that this business has completed the COVID Smart program. So that's a unique benefit for the business that really wants to send a message to the community about what they've done. But also, our belief is that there may be unique needs. So we have a whole list of other, let's call them premium or add-on services. As you get to be a larger organization, or if you have unique needs, our clinical advisors, they're available to do discussions, webinars, Q&A services similar to something like this, where I was just on a discussion with a group of restaurant owners, and they were asking legitimate questions about how they can train their staff. What can they do? What are some of the issues that they're facing that we can address? And so that's another part of the COVID Smart program. So the software and the online training program is available to everyone. But if a business has specific needs, they can reach out to us. We can create custom and optional programs on top of that. And don't forget, the program, just as we're taking a look at as the medical research improves and we're going to make improvements to the course, in the future, we're also going to be providing modules about specific locations. What is it like in a restaurant? What is it like in areas that might have unique needs? So as COVID Smart evolves, the business benefits are only going to increase over time.
So if you had I love that, Scott. So you've got a placard that they can put up that somebody can walk in. If they're unsure, they can take a picture of it. It'll show up, link them to something on their smartphone that say, this place is good to go. Yeah, that they're safe. Could you do the same thing? I know you and I have been talking a lot about schools, and is that something that we could, as we move forward and maybe more and more school districts begin to do something, that we could do something like that in the school district, where there might be a placard on a school entrance door, or maybe something that they could send home to parents that has the QR code on it, or maybe even something that could be placed on a meal that's being picked up or delivered, letting people know that, hey, this was prepared with your safety in mind.
Bart, I love the way you're thinking about this. This is fantastic. Yes. So think of it this way. We were talking earlier about the value of information and entertainment brands. We want the brand COVID Smart to represent the complete and total confidence that people on that site, people that are employees, people that are parents bringing their kids to schools. So the COVID Smart brand needs to represent confidence that everyone at that establishment understands how to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Mm-hmm. We can create any number of materials. We could create, you raise a really good idea about putting signage up. Well, we've got posters that exist. We could certainly put signs up where the teachers, the administration, and anyone that is at a school would very clearly see. Make it so the COVID Smart branding, you see that big check mark, you see that scannable code. Would love to see that in schools across the country. Mm-hmm. And to your point about the food, I think it's very similar to what we're seeing at restaurants. Most of the food is being available through either drive up or delivery service. Why not have a COVID Smart sticker so that when you get the bag, it says right on there, COVID Smart, you see, again, the branding, and you know that the people that prepared that meal have been trained in the COVID Smart program. So again, it's just another way of improving the confidence of people in that community. I love that. That would be fantastic.
These the three words I've heard you say over and over again. That's confident, comfortable, and commitment. And I think those are what we're going to have to be able to demonstrate, particularly in businesses and particularly food service operations. They're going to have to get their customers comfortable coming back in. They're going to have to get their staff confident that they're doing things the right way. And the only way you can do this is to demonstrate a commitment. And that's what COVID Smart would do, is it would demonstrate that all three of those things all in one.
Well, it does. It takes a team effort, right?
It does. It does.
And that's a large part of what we're doing. We want to make sure that the team is working together, and we enjoy that. And another thing to keep in mind is, as we roll this out, not just through the United States, but as we roll this out in other countries, we're doing the same thing there. We're forming these partnerships. So we're next going to be rolling out in the UK. We're looking at Turkey, Malaysia, all over the world. So another thing here is that the knowledge that we gain by being in other countries and understanding, that's going to benefit everyone who uses the COVID Smart program. We're going to bring those learnings and apply those because this is not a problem that's limited by any geographic borders at all.
Well, I dropped off for a second, but did you guys talk about the team at COVID Smart, the people that you got, Robert, and the group that you have all got to put this program together?
Yeah, the team here is remarkable, and first of all, thank you for all the compliments. And it is really we're grateful for all the attention that the COVID Smart program is getting, and I think it's because, like any good startup, we saw a clear problem, and the team. We've got a unique experience. You mentioned Robert. So Robert Tursick, he's got unparalleled experience. He knows how to launch digital services. More importantly, the team is rounded out with medical expertise as well. That's really critical. Angela Vassallo, she is an expert epidemiologist. She's been on the front lines dealing with COVID-19. And the other members of the team, they've got, I would say, across the board, everyone's got 20 plus years of experience. And it's a combination of things. It's understanding how to provide information, how to educate, how to inform, how to entertain, and those all go hand in hand. So part of the COVID Smart program isn't just giving you that information. It's not just the 7 modules that teach you everything you need to know. It also needs to be entertaining. It needs to be something where it can be fun going through. The illustrations need to give positive reinforcement. So we've built that in. And so we've got the skill set with the team to solve that problem.
Yeah, you can only sit through so many PowerPoint slides before your mind sort of goes to sleep. And I got to give you credit for that. You guys have created a program that's engaging, that's entertaining, that really kind of holds your interest and makes you want to go to the next module. That's the thing I found about it. As I was going through, I said, I finished one, so I want to see the next one. Because it's an excellent program, Scott. It is.
Well, that's great to hear. And yeah, we wanted to have a friendliness to it because effectively this is like any other compliance program, right? It's something that everyone in an organization needs to go through, and we didn't want to make it just one of the dry run-of-the-mill. We wanted to have illustrations, have positive voiceover reinforcement. So it's great to hear that you've noticed that.
The thing I want to tell you one other thing, and I wanted the listeners to hear this, is that you and I work together to work with a local school district on getting this program and getting impressions from child nutrition workers and people that are actually on the front lines working to feed our kids. And, one of the director's single most important concern or question was, is this going to scare my staff? She says, is this going to make my staff not want to come to work? Well, you and I both know they cranked up in the last couple of days with their staff. And just today, I got information back from her saying it's exactly what we said, that it was upbeat, it was positive, it was presenting the information. The information is the information, but it was presented in a way that was engaging and not intimidating and didn't at all come across as, oh my God, we don't need to go to work. And that was her biggest concern, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Bart, that's a legitimate concern, Bart. And what's interesting you say that is we didn't want there to be intimidation around going into this program, because let's face it, I'm an attorney. I take CLE programs. some of them are pretty daunting. So we didn't want this to be like any other sexual harassment training or compliance training program. We wanted to make sure that this is really about reinforcing the information. And some people may get a question wrong, and that's okay. We don't want people to feel intimidated as they're going through, because as you probably saw, Bart, if you do get a question wrong, that's fine. It just rolls back. It gives you the information. It shows you the illustration again, and then you've got another chance to answer the question to demonstrate, okay, now you know what the answer is. And so most programs like this can't say this, but this is a 100% success rate, because if you don't get the answer right, if you don't understand it, the program will allow you to go back until you do, because the goal here is to make sure everyone gets the information that's essential so that they know how to prevent the spread of COVID-19.
Well, I mean, this all sounds great, and I've seen the program, and it truly is an amazing program that you guys have put together, and we're so excited to be working with you guys on this and be able to offer it to our customers through our School Food Handler website. But for people out there that might not be working with our School Food Handler program, how can people find this course?
Well, I certainly hope they go to your site, and I certainly hope they have that as an important avenue. We're grateful for your efforts to get the message out there. One of the things we realize is that it does take a large effort to get the word out. We're building a brand that virtually anyone can utilize and anyone should understand and trust. So we've started at a grassroots level. We've worked with local communities. We started in Malibu, California. And the message there was, this is something that the local businesses can utilize and train their staff. We also have affiliates. So many of the other testing programs that might not be about online educational training, but might be, okay, what do you need to do to test for COVID-19? Or what PPE materials do you need for COVID-19 during this time? We are establishing affiliate relationships. So you'll start to see those where if it's combined with a test, you'll see the COVID Smart program go hand in hand with that. And as I mentioned, we're also forming partnerships, not just in the United States and not just throughout the US, in states like Arizona and California, but we're also looking beyond the US borders. So we're rolling out in the UK, we're going to be rolling out in Turkey, we're going to be rolling out in Malaysia. And this program initially started in partnership with Deakin University in Australia. So we've been obviously looking at what's happening there. And I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but Australia was pretty unique. They were one of the first to really understand that, use that word, Bart, commitment. It takes a commitment. And fortunately, everyone there was committed. They understood they needed to follow certain rules and protocols. So they've been very fortunate to keep their cases low. And so the message is, let's learn from other places where they have had lower numbers, they have had lower cases. And the message is that this is going to be available through communities, through partners, through affiliates, inside the US, outside the US. And also, we're ramping up our sales. So we're going to be growing our sales and marketing force. So we're just getting started, and we're really grateful for you helping us kick off some of these marketing efforts. It's really really positive to see.
And I know that we're going to have information in the show notes. We're going to tell people how to get in touch with the program and how to find more information, because we are very honored to be working with you, because I think this is something that in our world of child nutrition in schools, is that something that can be of enormous value, hitting those three things: comfort, confidence, and commitment. I think it's the things that everything I read, podcasts I listen to, superintendents talking, and various administrators, they are looking for something that they can demonstrate to their community that they really are doing the things that they say they are. And I think this is a great tool for them to demonstrate that commitment and that they are doing those things.
Yeah. It's important. And we hope that COVID-19 is not around much longer. We hope there will soon be a vaccine, and we're very hopeful that we're going to see positive movement. Regardless of all that, though, there are steps that we can take now. And so the COVID-19 is something that needs to be addressed. And we want people to be smart about it. We don't want people to be concerned. We don't want people to be anxious. We want people to be smart. And so if people become COVID smart and they go through this training program, they'll have the essentials, they'll understand what is required, and we'll bring the communities the confidence back that's really important. So thank you again for helping us do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
well, Scott, thanks so much for being on the show. I really appreciate it. Bart, same to you. Is there anything you'd like to leave our viewers with before we part ways today?
Well, I guess the message is COVID Smart is something that's going to benefit everyone. That takes about an hour. You'll understand what's necessary. And at this stage, information is our best weapon, information and understanding. So we thank everyone that is listening. We thank the viewers that understand that it does take some effort, and we're grateful to the partners that are already going through and taking the COVID Smart training program. And we're excited to see the brand extend all over the U.S.
Well, and I know that, I just thinking, I said, it's all about bringing your staff back safe. It's all about bringing the kids back safe. It's all about bringing your customers back safe. And the best way to bring them back safe is to bring them back COVID Smart. That's what I think. And I think that this is it. This is a one-of-a-kind program that there is nothing else like it. And it is a great opportunity for people to do exactly that.
Yep.
Love it, Bart. That's great. Yes. What a smart thing for you to say. Love it. Yes.
COVID Smart.
Well, gentlemen, thanks again for being on the show. I appreciate it. Scott, we'll talk to you very soon. And for everyone out there, this has been another episode of Friday Food Fight. I'm Wes Christian. We'll see you next week at 12 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Take care.